One of the fiercest typhoons ever recorded smashes into the Philippines.
Doug Ford advises his brother, Mayor Rob Ford, to go away for a couple weeks. Humber News starts now.
Hello, it's Friday, November 8th, and welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at North Campus. I'm Natalie Stoberman, and thanks for joining us.
And I'm Caroline Brown. Ahead on our show, we have all your news, sports, and entertainment highlights, as well as your 5-day weather forecast. But first, Natalie has our top story.
The Toronto Filipino community is on edge today, waiting for news about Super Typhoon Haiyan as it slams into central Philippines. Haiyan is said to be the strongest typhoon on record and has been setting off landslides and knocking out power and communication lines in several provinces. The natural disaster has killed at least 4 people, with the death toll expected to rise. Nearly 720,000 people were forced to evacuate their homes. CBC meteorologist Jay Scotland is comparing the typhoon to a strong F3 tornado rather than a hurricane. He says a tornado of that strength will overturn trains, lift cars off the ground, and heavily damage homes. According to Stats Canada, Canadians of Filipino origin make up the largest non-European ethnic groups in Canada.
Although early reports said Mayor Rob Ford was taking a personal day, he did go into work this afternoon, and Doug Ford broke his silence this morning for the first time since his brother revealed he has smoked crack cocaine. Ford spoke to radio station AM 640, saying it is in the mayor's best interest to go away for a few weeks. Rob Ford's lawyer, Dennis Morris, says Ford is considering treatment for substance abuse issues. The Ford brothers will no longer be hosting their weekly radio show, The City. News Talk 1010 released a statement this afternoon confirming that last week's broadcast will be the final episode. The radio station says that the decision was mutual.
The Toronto Star's video of Mayor Rob Ford ranting erratically has people talking not only about what to do about the running of City Hall, it has also drawn attention to the overall issue of people with addiction problems. Erica Vela has the report.
What are the first steps? Dennis Long, the executive director for Breakaway Addiction Services, says one of the most telling signs of someone suffering with addiction is when it begins to affect their everyday life.
When people show symptoms in their day-to-day living that are impeding their ability to do what they want to do. So in other words, if it's affecting somebody's job and they can't work, or affecting their family relationships where things are breaking down, then that's usually the first indication that somebody's got a problem.
The Star's video, as well as the mayor's recent admission to smoking crack cocaine, has left these Humber students concerned about the perils of addiction.
I think addiction can happen to anyone, even people in higher powers.
I think people have become more aware, and they probably see it more as a problem now, and I think they should pay more attention to it too.
It turns into a disease. It's a habit that, it's like, someone goes to maybe he loses something a lot. Different people have different habits, but it shows in different people in different ways.
Long says there has been an ongoing debate on whether or not addiction should be viewed as a disease.
If people are addicted, it's a chronic and relapsing condition. It's something that it takes a long time to get over. And generally, as a general rule of thumb, people do not get over it by themselves.
Center for Addiction and Mental Health, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Breakaway Addiction Services offer resources for people with addictions. Addiction isn't something to be taken lightly. Statistics say 1 in 5 Canadians suffer from addiction and mental health issues. Erica Vela, Humber News.
Thank you, Erica. The lawyer for one of the 3 men posing in an earlier photo with Ford is in court today. Daniel Brown, the lawyer for Muhammad Khatak, is requesting access to the 2 videos of Ford that are in police custody. Brown says access to the videos might help Khatak's defense against his drug trafficking charges. Media lawyers are also in court today, arguing the full release of the redacted police documents made public last week. A ruling is expected for early next week.
A province-wide survey about harassment and bullying is being conducted on Ontario University campuses. The online survey asked students to describe any experiences related to bullying and on-campus harassment. This is a joint project done by the Canadian Federation of Students Ontario and the Ontario University Workers Coordinating Committee. The information will be compiled into a provincial report and will be used to develop workshops to cater to students across the province.
The Supreme Court of Canada will hear an appeal today in the case of the Nova Scotia man who poked holes in his girlfriend's condoms. In the summer of 2006, Craig Jarrett Hutchinson thought he could save his failing relationship by getting his girlfriend pregnant. After he admitted to sabotage his girlfriend, broke off the relationship, terminated the pregnancy, and called the police. Hutchinson was acquitted at his first trial, but the Crown appealed that decision and he was convicted for sexual assault in 2011. That conviction was upheld on appeal, which led to this week's appearance in Supreme Court.
More than 200 runners across Canada are competing at Humber's North Campus for the National Cross Country Championships. Raul Pinto has the details.
The National Cross Country Running Championship is taking place this weekend at the Humber College North Campus. Organized by the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association, the 5 and 8 kilometer run will trail around the Arboretum, where the running course has already been well laid out with flags. Jim Bialik, manager of sports information at Humber, says cross-country running is anything but an easy sport.
This is up a hill, down the hill, through a valley, on grass, on stone, on wood.
Jack Miller, head coach of Thompson Rivers University from Kamloops, British Columbia, has been out training with his team and says he's very satisfied with Humber's presentation.
This looks like it's the best ever. It's extremely well organized. It seems like, although we haven't done the whole course yet, it looks like a great course. Good location. It's actually warmer here in Toronto than it is back home, so that's good too.
In preparation for tomorrow's event, Humber will be hosting a gala tonight for all competitors. Tomorrow, women will kick off the nationals at 11 a.m., followed by men at noon. Raul Pinto, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll have more news from across the country and around the world. Jonathan Rumley will have the sports news, and we'll have your weather forecast with Rachel Landry.
Some areas north of the city have already seen snow on the ground, and it's heading to Toronto. I'll have your 5-day weather forecast after the break.